Welcome back to Close Up. As we await the expansion of the Republican U.S. Senate primary field, there is one candidate who's been in the race already for a year now, and that is retired Army General Don Bolduc, who joins us in studio this morning. Thanks for being here, General. We appreciate your time.
Adam, thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it, and my best over the holiday season to all your listeners and viewers.
Yeah, and so the last time you were on, we had you talking a lot about Afghanistan in kind of a non-political context, and now I'd like to talk to you about it in context as a candidate, but with the expertise you bring as well. You know, a lot of the reports are indicating that, you know, this country where you risked your life to make it a better place is going to face a devastating famine this winter and heading into 2022. So when you see something like that and the potential loss of life there, and I should point out, you supported the withdrawal, but not in the way that it was executed.
Exactly.
Is the coming loss of life in Afghanistan, does that fall on President Biden's shoulders, or is this now the responsibility of the Taliban, which runs the country?
Look, it's been my opinion that, you know, the poor strategy and policy in Afghanistan spans, you know, 4 different administrations, but the conduct of the withdrawal does fall on President Biden, the State Department, and the Department of Defense leadership. So, you know, 10 tours in Afghanistan from 2001 to 2013, and then 4 years before I retired in Africa. The policy and strategy has always been a challenge, and it was a bad policy and strategy for 20 years, basically, except for a few moments where we were able to do the right things, and that was largely driven by the bottom-up tactical approaches and strategies from our guys on the ground. And so I do blame the senior leadership at all levels during this time, and I have been quite vocal about that. I've written articles about it, both on active duty and in retirement. But we do have, this withdrawal is got to be placed on the shoulders of the president. He's in charge. And General Milley and Secretary of Defense Austin and Secretary of State Blinken. They came up with a bad withdrawal in a hostile environment, and a NEO, a non-combatant operation, which I've done plenty of times in my career, in a hostile environment is a combat operation, and it requires combat forces to secure multiple airfields, to secure lanes of security so you can get the people out that you need to get out. And we never leave anybody behind, and we stay there until we get everybody out. And I believe those actions weakened us in the eyes of our allies, created a lot of problems, and opened the door for China and Russia to do a lot of the things that they're doing right now, emboldened them with the push into Ukraine and the continuing push into Taiwan and other things. So, yes, this is the administration's cross to bear in this particular circumstance.
Let's focus on the incumbent that you want to take on in November 2022, and that's Senator Hassan. She gave a floor speech saying that she is now in favor of eliminating the filibuster to pass a voting rights bill. What's your perspective on that, what is essentially a flip-flop on this issue? And do you think the filibuster matters to most Americans?
I do think it matters. I think the filibuster is a great procedural, you know, congressional procedural rule, and I think it's served both parties well, mostly the Democrat Party, right? They've used the filibuster more than anybody else, and they have the record for the longest filibuster during the Civil Rights Act. So this is something that I believe needs to stay, and I don't believe we need a federal Voting Rights Act. I am completely against that. We need to fix whatever problems we have with our voting systems, state by state, and the state needs to do that, and I'm a firm believer in that.
So, you know, related to voting, earlier this year you signed this letter, the Flag Officers for America, alleging that President Biden stole the election and accused him of acting in a, quote, dictatorial manner. If you and the other 123 officers who signed this document feel that a future election is somehow compromised or at risk, do you think it's appropriate for you as a group to take action beyond just writing a letter, something more?
Well, yes, and I'm doing that. I'm running for office, right?
Well, I'd say even beyond that, because there were some people in the military who looked at this and said, this is a breach of protocol. Right. This is the first step that we see before something like a military coup someday.
Right, right. Well, I've been involved with, you know, reacting to military coups in my career, and I have experience with that. And, of course, That's not what I'm promoting, right? I want a peaceful resolution to the problems that we have in this country, and I think we can get there if we get effective leadership. And that's what this is about, right? I am on the record. I believe that this state has some election integrity issues, and I think there's some simple fixes to that in upcoming elections. You know, I think we should get rid of the machines. I think we should tighten up the loopholes on college students that don't live here voting. I think that same-day voter registration is problematic, and I think that we've expanded the mail-in voting because of you know, the COVID lockdown last time irresponsibly, and we need to bring those things back. If we do those 4 things, we're going to be back on track. And I got to tell you, yesterday I was talking to the Dover GOP, and I asked them point blank a question. Do you think we have voter integrity issues here in the state of New Hampshire? And it was unanimous. Everybody raised their hand. And that's what I see in all 10 counties. People, we need to restore the faith that people have in our election system. Because if they don't have faith in the election system, we're in trouble. And that's the #1 question I'm asked. And the second follow-up question is, well, how are you going to win if it's rigged, right? And I said, listen, we got to get out there and we got to get involved in the political process. We got to take the political process, which belongs to the people, and the voting process, and get involved and vote and, you know, do the right thing that way. And then we will all be able to have faith in, you know, it's a two-way street,
well,
right?
It's not as though no one's been looking. I mean,
right.
like there have been all these investigations and they turn up these individual instances of fraud, but so far nothing widespread.
Right,
or,
and so we need to fix
systematic.
that, right? So that we can get, I mean, I ran on behalf of this country, you know, with my guys, a lot of elections overseas. And you know, voter ID was required. You know, accurate voter you know, registration was required. Overseers were required. And, you know, all these things that we require there, sometimes here, are considered voter, you know, interfering with voter rights. And that's not true, right?
Well,
so
let's move on from this. Because
yeah, sure.
when Governor Chris Sununu decided not to run, you surprised a lot of people when you referred to him as a, quote, Chinese communist sympathizer. On what facts do you base that allegation?
Well, I base it on the facts that the report that Secretary of State Pompeo released and briefed. And the name is clearly there with a number of other, you know, several other governors as being friendly to, you know, communist China. I posed a series of questions to Governor Sununu's office, which I did not receive answers to. And so I believe that that report is accurate. It's in Chinese, and it's been translated into English, and it's been released by our State Department. So I base that on it. You know, and we say a lot of harsh things, you know, when we're asked questions. And there's no secret that, you know, Governor Sununu and I have differences of opinion. But I'm not running against Governor Sununu now. I'm running against Maggie Hassan. So we set aside Governor Sununu and we focus on Maggie Hassan.
Last question for you here. It looks like Roe v. Wade could be a thing of the past potentially next year. If you're part of a new Republican majority in the Senate in 2023, how far are you willing to go with new laws? Do you think it's reasonable to criminalize abortion for both doctors and women? Well,
criminalize is one thing. I am unapologetically pro-life. And my experiences in the military have given me a real appreciation for life from the beginning to end. I've seen the worst, and I've dealt with the worst. And so I am a proponent in our health system for saving lives, right? I am going to support what I believe this issue is all about, and that's states deciding what they're going to do, and not the federal government. And I think that's where we're at now.
All right. General Don Bolduc, thank you for joining us here on Close Up. We'll see you out there on the campaign trail in 2022. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Adam, and God bless you.